It'll be in the foyer somewhere, I think. Yeah, okay, good, that's it. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm typing.
Thank you, Edgar. Very good job.
Hello there.
Hello, Günther.
Ah, good to see you.
Oh, there you are. I can hear you now. Yeah, good
Yeah.
to see you. I wonder if Peter will join us or who we will be today.
Mhm.
Fortunately, I have to leave at past. I have some work to do for the book.
Okay.
So
How were the submissions from the students?
how many submissions from the students? Let's have a look. 14.
14. Wow.
It could have been more, but it's not horrible. It's okay, I guess.
So have you read them already?
Not properly, but we've gone through them a bit and then judge it as a community. I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. That's partly what my meeting at 4:30 is today. I just got in from Norway, so that's why it's a bit rushed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how are you doing? How are you getting along with the work?
Yeah, I've been reading up theoretical stuff in computer science mainly, and just to figure out some problems, some engineering problems, and how they can be addressed. Anyway, I also took a look at RSS since we talked about having another medium for communication and for persisting things that we discuss. And I mean, it's I think this would be perhaps a good step to set up a feed, and I could do this, and then we will know what kind of requirements we further need. I mean, it's quite a flexible format, but I think we have to get some experience with this and to see whether that's a good medium.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would love to be a part of that. I would love to look at how to contribute to that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think what also came to my attention, I mean, is that a glossary. So when I did some reading, I came up with useful definitions, and it's kind of hard to keep track of all these. And I don't know, maybe these things can be also put into the feed and categorized. And I think that could be helpful. And so what I did is, I mean, it's really crazy. So I'm now making screenshots of PDFs. It's really insane. Yeah, I mean, there is probably other software around, but for now, that seems to be the easiest way to go. And I took a look at the optical character recognition library from Google called Tesseract, and it works surprisingly well. So you can have actually, as horrible as it sounds, a screenshot of a PDF, and that thing will recognize the writing, and this can be then correlated with a database which contains the PDFs, and so these things could be actually linked then.
In the project we called Journal, which was around Doug Engelbart's 50th demo anniversary, we started looking at different things. I just put a link in there so you can see a very, very crude thing that I've actually implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Just took a screenshot there, and no, that's not what I needed. And also the screenshot is, wow, this is so cool. Yeah, once you go to that page, I have something else to show you.
Yes, on the page.
Actually, look at the link that I just sent you now. I sent you 2 links. Look at the second one, please. Click on that.
Yeah.
See, it loads the page, and then it shows that it's kind of highlighted the word document.
No, there were documents. I can't see it.
I'm going to send you a screenshot, see if you're saying the same thing as me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll take a look at the screenshot. And the file name now. I don't know. Glossary.
Yeah, screenshot is coming.
Here it is. Yeah. Okay.
So the copied bit is
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's just high resolution linking as implemented by Chris Guttwich.
Oh, I see. So that's an over. Okay. Now I see it.
So what we were doing here is we were looking at using glossary entries, WordPress posts, as we have discussed before, as glossary entries. So this is just obviously the actual content of the WordPress post will be just plain text. But having this kind of a dialogue is to make it easy for a user to just enter the information, and then the system presents it correctly in the post that can be used in the system.
Let's see. It seems to be a bit glitchy. So there is a menu that you can select, a pop-up menu, but not able to bring it up again. So it's perhaps because of my browser. So where would this link lead you to?
Oh, the second one?
The documents in the square brackets.
Oh, that's just the text that I selected. So that's just his crude way, purposefully crude way of showing you this is the cited text.
Oh, okay. Ah, yeah, okay, now I get it. I was a bit confused.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's interesting. And so, so what the idea is that you have a WordPress blog, then you can publish posts as definitions, and then you can link to these definitions.
Yeah, exactly. But the hope is it would then be able to go into something like Liquid Space. This style of layout includes specifying relationships. However,
Yeah,
specifying relationships is really, really hard because you can do it one way, but grammatically, not necessarily two ways.
yeah. I'm looking at the second screenshot. Wow, many options. It's interesting. So I just have to play it through in my head. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah, that's really, really useful.
I hope that together we can figure out what kind of things to make like this, what kind of dialogue. This is just a test.
Oh, okay. I see. So it's kind of a. So you could have a. I'm thinking about a bit about hypercards. So you can have a. Yeah, I see where this is going. I see. Yeah, the question is, yeah, how, what the further use cases could, I can see this can work for many things. So, okay. Yeah, yeah. I think the question would be when you have such an interface and you want to link items and specify relationships, how much effort it would be such that, I mean, there might be, I don't know, let's call it an item, might be hundreds of these. And so the question would be then on how to quickly interrelate all these glossary items that you've connected. Though it's a bit more than this, isn't it? So it's, you can describe anything in that view. What's the upper term for this item, or how would you?
So upper term, what do you mean?
Yeah. So this is these are glossary entries, right?
Yeah.
But couldn't they also be sentence paragraphs, for instance, such so that you can have, yeah, could they also be used as kind of note cards? So yeah, but yeah, here it says definition. Like, I mean, I could imagine that this could be extended not only to glossary items, but to all kinds of records that you write and that you want to link with each other.
Yeah, I completely agree. WordPress can be a wonderful way to just store stuff in a manner as organized or as little as you want. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very useful, especially when I look at the relations menu. So I mean that's extremely important also for scientific work. So you have lots of propositions, and you want to know, well, are there any supporting claim, for instance? This I like very much. So I mean, when you extrapolate this to many users and which build then a network, this would be really great, because when you write a thesis or any kind of paper really, you don't know all the references, you don't know all the context, and if other people could chime in and say, hey, well, that's an interesting proposition. I have read that this statement is supported by so and so. You could have crowdsourcing and yeah, perhaps a whole different outlook on what publishing, what scientific work really means. So that to have this distributed would be interesting and perhaps yeah, we can start with the RSS feed, although I don't know as of yet how you can link these news items, because as far as I know, this RSS has been conceived just for news, but and I don't know whether readers can also, whether there can be also a link structure between RSS posts. I don't know whether this is possible. I have to look this up, or whether readers support this. So because we could have the feed, and then I post, I don't know, a definition or maybe any kind of proposition, or it might be really anything. Could be also something in the to-do list, and then other people could annotate and interlink the posts that have been made. So I think this would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm glad you think so. I definitely think so, but I also think it has huge opportunities for getting messy and difficult. So I think that if we're going
Yes.
to, we definitely need to have a very specific use case.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Well, I think, I mean, what I really need is are definitions. So the glossary temp is very helpful. So because I mean I keep most of them in my head, but now it's of course very difficult. But then again, yeah, it should be a use case. Yeah, we have to think about this. But anyway, it has huge potential. Yes, also one of the problems that I'm having is I still haven't come up with a very good way to organize my personal records. I have I mean I have a huge code library, and I've lots of different stuff on how to interact with systems, so small scripts, for instance, and yeah, and algorithms that I use, and uh, nodes that I have, and so it's kind of tough uh, to organize all this. And the for instance, do you know live streams by Gedleanta?
No, I don't think so.
Well, the idea was, well, this project was discontinued to have not to have a file system, but to view it, information as just as a stream, as a time stream. So all the records that you make, any kind, uh, would be could be found then in a stream, ordered by time. But really, time is not enough. But still, I think it's kind of nice to know uh, what you have been working on a particular moment in time, and or discover your or rediscover your activities. I think, yeah, this dimension is very helpful.
Well, you're talking about organizing your own notes. That is, of course, a huge market with Rome and all these people. What is it you think should be done different?
Yeah, it's a good question. I
I'm
guess if
definitely not saying there isn't anything that should be. I just find it interesting to hear what you have to say.
I really don't know. Because if I knew, probably I'd be rich. Uh, many things depend on context. I mean, mm, so I think having it. Well, first of all, I don't really like the file system, so I think I find it just a horrible way to organize, yeah, records. Let's call them records. So that's clearly no good. But even having a search facility would be very helpful, such that when I want to remember a my notes, then I mean, I could tag them, and they could be also mm, related items could be perhaps also presented. This could, I mean, this can be done with a temporal dimension, for instance. I think that's still a very interesting idea, such that when I have a node, then I see perhaps a side-by-side rearrangement, what kind of other nodes I took in a specific time interval, because these things are likely to be, yeah, related to each other. But as for organizing, yeah, it's difficult because there are so many kinds of relationships. I really don't have a good answer.
Let me ask you more specific questions then. Why do you need to organize notes? And the reason I ask it in this way is, are you talking about learning a subject like in a class, being in a business meeting for a project, learning something off your own mind, thinking through something to make a new document of some sort or presentation? What's the reason for this?
Well, first of all, I might forget important things that I was working on, or that I've been reading, or in a discussion. You might want to have quick access to the things that you have been working on, such that you don't forget them in a discussion, because discussions to me are very difficult, because I'm a very slow thinker, and but having a system that would allow me to remember, to recall what I've done as quickly as possible when the need arises, would also, I think, be helpful when I have a discussion with someone, because I, I tend to forget a lot in these situations, because yeah, because these are a bit stressful to me. So, and so having this as just as memory support would be very helpful. So I think that it would be the main use. So kind of a, not really a memex, but the motivation behind it, to have your memory be augmented, especially in situations where you don't have the time to think about, I don't know, 15 minutes, because discussions have their own dynamics, and you might be prepared, or you might be prepared for a specific set of questions or inquiries, but suddenly the discussion drifts to another topic which you have also investigated, but your mind isn't prepared for this. But you have done work, and so recalling this and consolidating this on what you have thought and written about this subject on the instant where this is required, I think would be very useful.
Okay, so my suggestion then becomes, one of the things you would want to remember and to find is stuff you have come across elsewhere. In other words, this could be both an idea and a citation manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
if you then imagine Facebook is a great place for people to learn to tag things, because they tag their pictures and stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
So if we have a system whereby we can add stuff to this in easy ways, but we can then at leisure go through it and see it linked, a bit
Mm-hmm.
like Space or something like that, in a way that encourages us to add further metadata and further relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That could then also allow for what you're talking about of when you need to find something,
Yes.
you can do a similar navigation, right?
Yeah, that's yes.
Because the thing about Notion and Rome and these things, they seem, well, they're a little bit arrogant, but also a little bit proprietary. Proprietary. So if we were to manage to build something like this, and all the records were stored as WordPress posts, at a really clear and obvious structure for how they are connected through, hey, maybe even Visual Meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that could be a contender for people's thinking space.
Yes, I also like the term thinking space. It's that's a good one. So yes, to help people organize this, I think would be very useful. I mean, especially this dates back to even Doug's work, where you often have discussions about very complex issues. And now just think about the pandemic now, and so there's lots of information that has to be related to each other and be recalled efficiently, such that we have constructive discussions. And I think this could have huge potential. And organizing, and I mean, we could even think about, you see, one problem that I have is that the that many artifacts that we're dealing with, they cannot be processed conveniently by machines. And you could also populate these thinking spaces with agents that digest the information. And I think this could be very useful, but it has to be, for this to get traction. I mean, it still would be only a tool. So of course the question would be then the further use case. And as I've mentioned, I am very much interested in personal computing systems and having better means to engineer software systems. And this, I think, is also, of course, important from a bootstrapping point of view.
Günther, are you currently studying or did you stop? I can't remember.
Well, I didn't realize. I'm not enrolled anymore, but so my study is mainly self-funded, so I failed to get any funding, and yeah, that's kind of a problem.
I have to go on my other call now, I'm afraid. But
Yes.
the reason I'm asking the question is, imagine building a system that is explicitly supporting one use case, and that is a advanced student writing down ideas, citations, what they've come across, everything, for the purposes of, at the end, making a document out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just for thinking for fun, but it
Yeah.
is when you got to hand in a piece of work.
Yes. Yes.
If we
Yeah.
if we manage to do something along those lines, that could be, obviously, I would think, very interesting.
I completely agree. So I was hoping that Peter would join, but perhaps on Friday then. So yes,
Yeah.
I do thinking on this, and yeah, I think this can. I have to do some demos so that we know whether this thing that whether I'm working towards a useful direction. So I'll work on this.
Okay, excellent. I look forward to chatting with you later, and I will also think about creating a knowledge base for a student. So it's a very specific use case. WordPress is the place where we store it. But then I'll also, this week is going to be quite tough for me, but I'll try to think about how we can work on the inputting of a thing and not finding through search, because that's boring, but how you can then navigate through the space to find something you cannot quite put your mind to, right? Is that the kind of you're also thinking about?
Yeah, that sounds yeah, very important. And I don't know, perhaps we talk about it on Friday or next week, since this week will be going to be a bit tough for you.
Well, let's try Friday, and if we can. All right, thanks for today. Got to run, I'm afraid, but yeah, this is it. We're moving somewhere.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Okay.
And see you soon. Goodbye.